Sit up straight. God damn it. We sit up straight in this house, or at least we pretend to. Yes, the whole family is here this evening. The dog is currently upset because Dad just had an entire thing of macaroni and cheese and didn't share. Clearly he's mean. Here it is. No. We are spoiling her with treats. So I have a few different projects rotating tonight for tonight's sit around and chat. Right now, I just need to add a few more rows to this to get to the sleeve. I guess the armhole, not the sleeve. It doesn't have sleeves. So if you go into the description box, this is the first pattern that's linked. It is the 1970s Barbara Warner pattern. And she was known for having a crochet couture. I think she did some knitting as well. I think there were knitting patterns with her name on them as well. And her whole thing was that the stuff that she designed was very of the moment. So I'm making the dress version. There's 2 patterns. One is the dress, which they don't show you a full photo of the dress. Great job, everybody.
Let me turn this on.
Let's see. Oh, no, it's right in the background.
All right.
But thank you.
Good.
And then the other pattern is like little hot pants with a mini skirt. So like you basically just make either a very, very short dress or whatever length dress you want. And then if you want shorts, you make shorts. I did actually try to make the shorts last year or the year before, and I completely mistook where I should have put the increases, and they came out entirely too large. And I actually ended up pulling a lot of the yarn back out to start over, because this is size 3 thread, so it's 100% cotton, and it reuses really nicely. So yay! So yeah, just finishing that for now, and other projects are awaiting their turn. I'm working on a little 3-way bag from the 1930s that's very, very cute. Although I'm at the sewing part now, so of course I slowed down immediately. And then there is a skirt that I started on from the 1950s that is a great big poofy monstrosity that is for cosplay purposes. And I have really enjoyed working on it so far. It's a very simple repeat. And then between all of the rows that take careful consideration and effort are several rows of just nice, simple mesh stitches. So yay. I like that combination. I'm just hoping I have enough for that skirt because, yeah, it's, the yarn I'm using is discontinued and they don't have the color anymore. So fingers crossed, but I think I do. I've made another skirt from the book, and it came out to a similar amount of yarn. So I think it'll work. Also, I think the way that this skirt is made, it'll build out faster than the first one, because the first one was just alternating rows of single crochet and double crochet, and this one is like a shell pattern, so that will help. But yeah, I am once again working with discontinued yarn on a project because I buy the yarn and I really mean to make the project like, within a year, and then, well, it doesn't happen. Or it does happen and the yarn is discontinued anyway. I just went to Moon and Yarn Craft Room here in Pittsburgh, which is now my local. And there's 2 different companies whose yarns they stock who are going out of business. And I ended up going ahead and getting enough of a super bulky to make a stole that I have a pattern for, because it's really beautiful yarn, and it was on sale because it's not going to be around anymore. So, as long as I'm here. And, oh, I think a bug just got me. Gross.
Get out of here, bug.
You don't live here. This is my house. Yeah, so we're just a lot of shell stitches in my patterns recently. I also, I was working on a blouse a couple of live streams ago that is also a shell stitch, and I actually have the back of that done. And I meant to put that down and then take a break. And I didn't take the break, so I'm trying to get to a point where I will actually take the break for real, because my shoulders are my shoulders. Hi, Trish! Oh, it's so good to see you, darling. Is it warming up down there? It warmed up really fast, and then it got chilly again, and now it's warming up again, but now it's going to be chilly again Saturday and Sunday, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, spring is what's going on, but who knows? And I'm actually really excited it's going to be chilly the next couple of days, because it means I can get back on the sweater. So all that yarn I wound has already become sweater, and I have wound 4 more skeins to continue making sweater, so it's very exciting. It is not within arm's reach. I did not think that through before I sat down. The heat, the cold, the heat. Yep. Yeah, we it's for us. It's the ceiling fans on or the ceiling fans off. Is the window open? Is the window closed? Is the back door open? Is the back door closed? Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a dress. So it's like a gingham dress. It's a little mini dress. Now I typed linen in when I was looking for it, but it might actually be polyester, because one of the other dresses I just bought because of the weather change, it said it was linen, and then it got here and the tag said polyester, and I just don't want to be lied to. You know, I just don't want to be lied to. But I'm working on a shell stitch dress from the 70s, and I'm excited. This is the back. I've got the right and the left sides done. So if I can just get the back finished, I can sew them together, and then it's just, you make the waistband and then you work down on the skirt, and I'm like, yes, I can just go forever. Or until my arm seizes up, whichever one happens first. I never I know what I'm like. But yeah, I'm working on that. I also have, this does not look like much, but it is going to become a purse. You have to fold in the corners. So basically, like those little fortune tellers. So you're gonna like fold all the edges in, and then you have to sew some of the rectangles together to make the sides. It's probably tomorrow's thing. I don't think I want to sew it tonight. I thought I was gonna, but I don't know. Ooh. Are you making, is it like a sweater you're making with the shell stitch, or is it something else? Feel it. Okay. Oh, when you get tired of the yarn. Who makes Ferris wheel? Is that one of Lion Brand's? I feel like that's a Lion Brand yarn. Like, I can see it, but I mean, I know it's one of the caked yarns, so I may just be naming the wrong company. Because pattern. Oh yeah, it's slightly fuzzy, I bet. Oh God, why must we love the slightly fuzzy yarns that hate to be frogged? I was actually really impressed when I worked with Juniper Moon. The one that I used for that sweater was a 3 ribbon, yeah. Like, it's fuzzy, but when I had to go back, it actually frogged out pretty all right. Like, I was impressed. Like, I had to pull the pencil skirt almost. Oh, it fell. I'm here. Hold on. There we go. Like, the pencil skirt almost had to be pulled back to the very beginning, and I was still able to reuse all the yarn. So that was very impressive. Yeah, a 4, but it's a 3. Ah, yes, we have a Karen Simply Soft in the mix. That moment when we all use Karen Simply Soft, and then thought, I'll just grab a skein of Super Saver and fix it. Nope. It's like new crocheter bingo. It's like, you have to do that. You have to find out if you have the ability to work with homespun. Oh yeah, Purple Kitty. Yeah, so they're the ones who do the Free Vintage Crochet. Yeah, they're great. I get a newsletter every couple of weeks when they've got new scans on. So it's always nice to see that pop up and see what they've been working on. This was actually from an Etsy shop, but she is no longer on Etsy, and she is no longer around at all. I can't find the username attached to like a Shopify or anything. But I also can't get the watermark off the pattern, and I can't find a different version of the pattern without the watermark. So I just have to like put it up and be like, guys, I'm not stealing her stuff. I promise. She's just not around anymore. Yeah, Free Vintage Crochet has a lot of really good like 40s stuff, a lot of 30s stuff too. I've got a bunch of the dresses. And one of these days I will actually make one. But it involves quite a bit of math because I think you were legally not allowed to have hips in the 1930s. I think they removed them and just stored them away until they were ready. And there goes the dog again. She has been very barky today. We don't know why.
Get in here.
Just.
Get in here.
Yep. Ma'am, do not start with me. Get up here. She's huffing around. Yeah. There's a little dog next door who will bark at her too, so sometimes they just set each other off. Even though they both have their own very nice porches where the view is slightly blocked from each other. But they just got to get through it. Just got to get out of their systems. But yeah, she was also barking today because one of the neighbors behind us came outside to get in her car, which is not parked anywhere she can actually see it from the porch, but somebody walked by, so that had to happen. I don't know. I think she might just be a little restless because it's so nice out. Yeah, they just got to get it out of their system. She's now going to be on patrol. We're going to see if she pulls a third snack out of the couch somewhere. She actually ate, I literally do not know how old the rawhide was that she ate today, but it came with us from Portland. And it had been with us in Portland for a while. But that's one down. And then she pulled the exact same treat out of a different place and hit it. Oh yeah, Goldens. They're pretty mellow. Well, they can be mellow with their barking. I don't know that I want to say that Goldens are mellow as a general rule. They are hunting dogs, so they can get weird. My great grandpa actually had them for duck hunting and trained them to catch butterflies without hurting them so that they would have a soft mouth when catching the ducks. I don't know how you first come up with the idea to train the dog to catch butterflies and then do it, but he was the kind of guy I'm not surprised he figured it out. Yeah, or bird dogs. So yeah, I love a golden. I think most of the big dogs in the neighborhood are either pitties or there's like, I think it might be a husky mix across the street, and then there's just a scruffy guy who we can't get terribly close to because he does not trust men. So if I'm with Sean, he doesn't like Sean. I personally have come to realize I am not indifferent to Sean.
Certainly not unfond of you.
Yeah, I'm not unfond of you. If you heard the clang, that was the dog flipping her bowl around. It's going to be that kind of night. She is trouble. Oh. Do you ever get any of like ears perked up hearing bird sounds from Monty? Are there days that he's just like into it? Not as bad as your cats. What are the worst cat shenanigans in your house? I always love knowing this. I have a friend with several, and my favorite thing is the biggest one is also the one that just wants to lay around. So I get these great photos of just this gigantic cat with little crinkle cut ears, lounging on things. All right. Did was it a was it a purposeful adoption, or did the cat distribution system get you? Oh, okay. So they're working cats. They're mousers. I am so glad none of my cats were ever like big mousers. I don't think I could have handled it. Like I'm good with a lot of sort of the terrible things that animals were dragging to the house, but I can't do it. I oh. I'm watching someone foster a cat on YouTube right now. It it's been a street cat its whole life, so it's a lot of work. Oh, the mama and the kittens. Oh, I hate that. That's so sad. Well, I'm glad you were there. I honestly, my grandmother got most of her cats um, because she would go and walk in the city park every single day. Still does actually at 92. May we all be so lucky. And people would dump kittens right near the track there because there was a little wooded area, and so she would hear them and end up with another cat. Excuse me. And she always tried very hard not to keep them, but I get my soft heart from somewhere. Oh. Oh, that really is very serendipitous of when they showed up. It's nice to know you had kittens being kittens when you were having to deal with a real hard time like your mom passing. You know, small a small bit of brightness in a very stressful and exhausting time. Uh, we actually had been at the kennel last weekend because my mother-in-law and Sean's aunt came into town and they brought their dog, and we tried it out and Bean was not having it. So we sent her for a spa weekend and let the other dog actually, be able to be in the house and not get barked at. Oh, is this one of those like it's just like the cat in West Virginia because everybody had them as barn cats for so long? Kind of like is it? I know there are a few different places in the world that they have like the street dogs are a particular type of mutt. So like island dogs are a type of mutt, and I think Brazil also has like the Brazilian dog that is like it's a mutt, but it is like the street dog. Hillbilly cats. Oh, well, that explains the 3 a.m. mousing. That's prime time to do hillbilly shit. I remind you all, I am from the Ozark Mountains, so I got a little hillbilly in me too. So this is always a factual statement, not an insult.
I am not.
I didn't say you were a hillbilly.
You said I've got a little hillbilly in me.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, you see what I'm doing there?
Ugh, terrible. Terrible! Sean thinks he's very clever. But, hold on, how many rows do I have, actually? Because there is a precise number I'm going for. Let me count, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so one more set of repeats after this row.
Rows before hose, is that anything?
What?
Rows before hose?
Rows before hose.
Is that anything?
No, that's just what it is when I'm stitching. The rows are in front of me and I am the hoe.
I see.
Apparently we're doing a bit tonight.
Is this okay?
Yeah, you're fine, honey. Yeah. Oh God, no. See, this is why I can't handle cats bringing me gifts because, oh, for God's sakes, sometimes they're not fully dead, and it's terrifying and gross. My grandmother actually had a couple of cats that were very, very good at bringing her gifts, and so a lot of baby snakes ended up in her house, and one time a bunny. We have decided that the bunny lived a happy life. It wasn't even harmed, thankfully. Like she, I had 2 orange cats who found a June bug one time, like the big screamy June. I guess it's cicada. Yeah, it's cicada. You never forget that terrible sound. It is, like cicadas as a group, kind of a nice sound. You know, it can be very soothing. One cicada in your house getting batted around by 2 cats, not the same thing at all. Do not recommend. So it's
I don't know if the mic's picking that up. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Weirdly, our dog only ever wants to be near us, but then yeah, it is a Super Monster Cricket 1000. That is a proper explanation. Bean loves to be near us, but there are times we have to remind her that like she can be on the couch. We never stop her from being on the couch. Like she has full furniture privileges. We moved a chair across the country for her. But she will still sometimes just sit in the doorway like, "Oh, hello. I am clearly just a friendly little dog coming to visit. I don't live here." And it's like, "Would you please just get on the couch?" She is the queen, it's true. And usually she knows it, but no. Last night at 2 in the morning when I hadn't fallen asleep yet, she didn't know it. Decided to sit on the poof for 5 minutes. Which was different from when she sat on the poof earlier that night when I hadn't slept yet.
I picked her up and put her in the bed earlier this week when she was trying to pull back.
Yeah, I don't know why she does that.
Yeah, I don't either.
She is. Actually, I can. Hold on.
Nope.
She's on the move again.
There she goes.
Here. That's fine though. I can. There she is. Miss Bean, they want to see you. Why are you blurry? There it goes. Brit and Bean. Oh, dramatic. Hello. Hi, sweetheart.
Come on up.
Yeah. Yeah, she is a little rascal. Are you a rascal? Come here. Okay.
There we go. Oh, I'll move my water bottle. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is it that there was something on the pillow? Wait, come on. I don't know, man. Our dog's weird. Hi, sweetie. She is very cute. So we have a little back porch off the kitchen, and we got a little 2-seat lounge so that we can sit out there and enjoy the weather. And she figured out instantly that we can be out there with her. And she has now started doing this thing where she will come in and look at us and wag her tail until we go and sit with her outside.
It is nice sitting outside.
It is. She's not wrong. But she spent several years with the only room we had on the porch was for her. And so now that she's figured out it can be a family activity, she's all for it. Yeah. Yes, she was very cute during the move. For those of you who may not have seen it, there is a travel log of us moving across the country, and she's just in the truck living her best life. She got to pee in a new place every 2 hours. It was very exciting for her. I mean, I did too, but I've traveled more than she has. Right there. You want to come here? Hold on. Let me see. Here. Come here. Come on. You're just barely in frame. Give the people what they want. Come here. I think she wants to sit on my lap, but she's also too warm to sit on my lap. I mean, it loses its allure after like the 4th truck stop bathroom. You know? It's like, oh, it's another one. This one's pretty clean. Actually, all of them are pretty clean. So good job, people, keeping truck stop bathrooms clean. I was very impressed. I'm sure it's not always easy. You know, you're shaking the camera. Yep. A good old disinfectant smell. Well, disinfectant if you're lucky. Yeah, I mean, we were just, on whatever 4-lane we were on and going east. So, and then we stayed, I think we were next to truck stops most of the nights on the road, which was nice. Like it gives me a better sense of safety because like trucks are coming in and out all night, so it's not as quiet and or possibly thievery afoot sort of thing. So yeah, it was pretty good. The highway around Chicago can suck it, but I think I've had that conversation before. So, yes, hi, come here. You can just come here. Come here. Hold on. Here. There. You can be here. I can use you for views. And it won't traumatize you because you're a dog and you don't understand. You don't have a privacy to violate because you're a dog. Hi. Yep, I thought that was happening. Do you need jammies? I can't imagine you do. Do you want your bed on? Sorry, we got to go through 20 questions here. Well, I can see all the food you spilled on the floor, so you don't need that.
Don't need water.
Don't need water.
Offered to take her out, and she didn't.
She doesn't want to go out. I think you just want to be a brat. Is that what it is? You just want to be a brat? Yes.
This is good content.
I think it is. I mean,
I know. I was being serious. Sorry if it sounds sarcastic.
Is she an orange crown in the box by chance? Is it orange cat nonsense that's happening? Oh, I love a good orange cat. You're basically an orange cat. Yeah, that's right. Good girl. All right, I'm going to keep stitching. You do whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Goon. All right, we are. Yep, she's going into her bed. We have gotten her figured out.
I'll wrap you up. There you go.
I love when you get all the colors in the kitties.
And we're good.
Yeah, we had one cat that ended up having babies, and she had a black and white one. And then they were all other colors too. And the black and white one we named Furby because it would like throw itself up to sit upright and look around before it could walk. And so it would just like sit there and look like a little Furby. He became a big boy. And then you remember when Cuddles had puppies and none of them looked like her?
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Had a long-haired mutt, definitely some golden, probably some collie, definitely some hound. And she had puppies, and they were all black, white, tan, spotted little babies. They were so cute.
There might still be a video of them on YouTube under my account.
Yeah, there might. Oh my god!
It might be the first video I uploaded from that account.
I might cry seeing Cuddles again. Oh. She's a baby.
Well, we have our own Cuddles.
Oh, chill, pumpkin mark. That's so cute. Well, just so perfect too with your mom's birthday being on Halloween, and see that's what it is though. It's right on the orange is right on the brain. That's why she's like that. Not fully orange, but almost. It's actually really funny because this yarn is looking very orange, and it's definitely more pinky in person. Yeah, it's her third eye. Oh my god. It's the last thing an orange cat needs, the third eye. Hilariously, I made shorts this past week from a 1970s pattern, and I bought like a really nice sort of burnt orange because I love burnt orange, and then I realized I think the yarn color in the original pattern is almost exactly the same. So, really proud of that matchup. Absolutely nailed it. Oh. So what was her name? What was the orange tabby you had? I think yeah, we had the orange tabby. No, we didn't have them by the time I met you. We had the feral kitties from our Himalayan. So that was after Fred and George. Uh, trying to think. Because we had Mayhem. Mayhem was like my cat. Like was like my cattest cat. My sweetest warrior. Um, and then we had a collection of strays that kind of got adopted over time, and then we had a Himalayan that our neighbors asked us if we would take it, and so we did, and that was our cat for a few years, and she got pregnant and had kittens at the very back of a closet. It was right after I moved out. My dad was working overseas. My mom couldn't move the stuff in the closet because of bad joints, and so ended up with a bunch of feral little kittens. Oh my! Yeah, the pastor played your mom to get a kitten out of that. Oh, that's awesome. That's so funny. Dorsey's a good cat name too. I like that, Dorsey. Just happened to hand you an adorable creature as you were getting ready to leave. Oh, a solid black Siberian. I bet that's gorgeous. So pretty. Although my sympathy to your couch cushions for the shedding. I am sure that is not uh, a particularly easy cleaning job, unless your couch is black, in which case. Oh yeah. Did you ever have a Heathcliff? That's what I. That's always the third cat I think of when I think of like famous cat names.
No one should terrify the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a roommate at one point who adopted a kitten, and the kitten decided the best place to sharpen claws was on the ancient pull-out couch. And honestly, like you could do much more harm to that couch. Uh, although if you open the bed to actually use the pull-out couch, the cat would jump up and pee on it. Of course they don't. No, the cat trees aren't for clawing; they're for looking at. They're art exhibits, right? It's like modern art for cats. Uh, Frank Moyd, right? No, I can do better.
No, it isn't a cat.
No, trying to do meow. Instead of Frank Lloyd, right? It's Frank Moyd.
Oh, I see.
Right? Yeah.
There's something there. Keep digging.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
I think I need a different architect's name, but I don't know a lot of architects' names, so.
Something with Howard Rourke. I don't know. Peter Keating. Ooh, Peter Kittening.
Wait, is that the guy you don't like from that book?
Well, he's not a villain, but he's not a hero.
All right. I was thinking more like real architects, though.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
See, we tried that one already.
Oh, right. Scrappy Doo.
Oh my!
Isn't Scrappy Doo an architect?
I'm gonna slap you.
Right. It's only in certain timelines.
Yeah, you don't have any furniture to move. They've made sure of that. On the baseboards. I don't know. I feel like you're doing all right though. Like you got cats, you got yarn. It's all coming together. You can make your own sweaters even. That just sounds like productivity to me. I And a cat that eats yarn. Oh. Sean's mom's dog once ate my yarn. In the dog's defense, I left the yarn on the coffee table because I didn't know that he was going to eat it. Found out the next morning, though. Luckily, I was not the one to walk him. So, thanks, honey. When Murphy ate the yarn?
Yeah.
Said I wasn't the one to walk him, and I was thanking you for being the one to walk him. Yeah, Bean doesn't really care. Like, occasionally she will think yarn is a toy, but then, like, she'll put it in her mouth for a second and drop it and be like, I don't want this. Which is kind of how she handles toys. Like, she likes toys when they're brand new and then doesn't know what to do with them. It's very silly.
It's really weird.
Yeah, Murphy is a Wheaton. So he's a very serious-faced man. I forgot how old he was.
He's a very good boy.
Yeah, he's a very good boy, and I had not realized that if he's not 10 yet, he's about to be. Because there were photos of me hugging on him the first time we met him when I think he was still under a year old, and those were from 9 years ago. Same haircut, different length. Hilariously. I think I was in my blue glasses then too. So like.
I think you're right because I saw some of those photos on my. Google reminded me of those photos recently too.
Yeah. So basically, this is just like Gale 2.0, Gale Web 0.3 or whatever it is.
Dream Drop Distance. Throw a subtitle on there.
Oh, I remember Duke. Yeah, the dog in the Bush's Beans commercials.
Oh yeah.
Duke. Murphy Duke. That's a dog with a sitcom right there. Murphy Duke, attorney at law, but he's like an incompetent lawyer.
He is a dog.
Yeah. There's nothing in the rules that says a dog can't practice law.
I'm pretty sure there are. There's something in the rules that would prevent a dog from practicing law. There's an inability to pass the bar, for example.
Oh, yes, that is I guess it's probably one of the first times anyone's seen it because I've been too cold to have so much of my chest showing. It is a cactus. It's a saguaro. So this is something. Hold on, let me stop shaking the camera. So this is an idea that I had that my tattoo artist and I worked on together, and what it is supposed to be is just sort of symbolic of all my shit. So with a healing heart and an open mind, I can achieve growth even if it's slow because saguaros take a long time to bloom, and so they have the flowers on here. And then the outside edge is reminiscent of a lighthouse, specifically because I read a really good piece of advice in a book at one point that you can be a lighthouse to the people you love, but you can only shine the light where it's safe. You can't make them follow the beam of light. And I have a little bit of a problem trying to get people to make better decisions than they are making, and I've done a lot of work to realize I can't make them make better decisions. I can only be here to help them if they are willing to make the better decision. So, and then just right there on my chest, because when I designed it, I was like, that's where it's got to go. It's just got to be kind of right there up front, reminding me at all times. Yeah. I am very glad that I have reached a point in my life where I can remind myself it's okay to not try to uproot myself and save everybody all the time. Sometimes all you can do is just be there. Yeah, it was actually really funny because I thought it was going to hurt really bad because this is one of the areas. And I got it done and I was like, that wasn't that bad. And my tattoo artist who did several of my tattoos was like, yeah, I thought you would flinch more. So I was expecting it to take 2 appointments and only took 1. But it's still not, it still didn't hurt so little that I'm willing to consider putting anything on my elbows. That's... No, because it still has to put a needle on my elbow.
It would look cool.
I mean, yeah, it would look cool, but I think... I figure, like, there's got to be a level of pain that makes me pass out. That's probably would be it. Always something I'm curious about. Like, what is the pain level that's going to take me out? Because I was awake the whole time from my gallbladder. That was not fun. Shoulder blade, Lily. Oh, that sounds really pretty. I like that. I like the coming out of the mud. That, yeah, I can really see that. I love... Hold on. I think I got my count off. I did not get my count off on this row. I got my count off 2 rows ago and didn't notice. We'll just fix it now. I don't mean to laugh, but getting a lily pad coming out of the mud after your divorce is sort of... The visual alone is absolutely perfect. Like, just like signed paper, smash cut to you at the tattoo shop. I'm here, let's go! Yeah, like, I have... My tattoos are a combination of, like, genuine and goofy. Which is really fun. And I have not gone to an artist yet in Pittsburgh, although I absolutely have a huge amount of options. I have a couple of shops I do want to go to first, but it's mostly figuring out what I want to get next and making sure I find the artist that I think is going to do the best job. Because I do have a large tattoo planned, but it has to be absolutely perfect, so it's not something I can walk in for a first tattoo. Oh no, my phone's going off. Just checking things. Oh, nice. A friend of mine is watching the NFL draft, which is very funny because it's downtown. But now I'm getting the names of players I don't know, and she's telling me which team they played on that she knows them from. Sean has no tattoos, not even my name and a heart on his chest. He stuck his tongue out at me. No, he's never really had an idea that stuck with him long enough. And I do think I am at the point with my tattoos now, I'm like, get whatever is fun. But I do think it is still a good idea if you think you're only going to get one to make sure it's something that's really sticking with you, because if you're going to do one and done, you don't want to be like, yeah, I picked it out of a book at random 3 seconds before I got it. Although there is no wrong way to get tattooed as long as you're going to a shop that is clean and well maintained. So, much like how I feel about crochet, do whatever you want with your tattoos. Well, actually, also, much as with crochet, no hate symbols. Yeah, I think that's a good general rule for life. Whatever you're up to, no, just be aware. I actually have a book from 1915 that is like doilies and little containers and things, and there is a little container with swastikas on it because of the interest in India and that area of the world at the time. And I know this, and it's still, every single time I flip through that one looking for something to make, I end up having to stop and be like, whoa, and then be like, no, it didn't mean that in 1915. Like, of course we're not going to make it now, But in 1915, that was not what this is. This is not endorsing any of that. It's sort of like when, yeah, it was I forget if it was Hindu or Buddhism, but it was one of them, and it's yeah, and so that was a time when people were learning more about that area of the world, and I suppose we can give that one to British imperialism, because that's where it would have come from. It would have been the British going over and taking over India, and then the culture of India um, coming out to the wider world while Britain was doing everything they were doing. I saw someone a couple of years ago try to claim that curry was a British dish, and like, honey, no. You have it because of colonialism, and but you did not invent it. That's let's not pretend like the Brits invented anything with spices in it. Right? It's like, no, curry is no, that came from the Indian population that came to Britain. Not you guys didn't invent that one. I actually read a book about Mrs. Beeton, who was like the household goddess, the first household goddess of the Victorian era. And there's a theory that the reason that boiling vegetables just became something that happens uh, for so long in England was because at the time that she was first writing, it was also the time when it was kind of the first time that people were getting their food from the food coming into them, not them just growing it themselves or being very near it. And so you couldn't always be sure that what you got was as fresh as it was supposed to be. And so you would boil your vegetables so that if there was something gross in them, you boiled it out, basically. And I'm just like, man, can you imagine? Like, I wonder how many things are like that. Like, we do this because this was the book every new bride got, and so every new bride was boiling their vegetables for decades and decades and decades past, when it was the sensible thing to do because of how produce traveled, as opposed to, well, now we have ice boxes and then refrigerators, and like, it's a fascinating idea that it just is like, because this was the book that recommended it that one time. That was a really good read. She died very young. It was super sad. Yeah, our village is getting sick. Time to boil everything. Yeah, I'm sure that was a lot of it too. Like, I think it's impressive that humans as a species figured out if we take the water and we make it make all the bubbles, somehow it makes the food safer. Like, it's, and I have to wonder if it was, well, when we drink the water that we boiled, we don't get as sick as when we drink the water we didn't boil. So, like, something's better about it. Life before germ theory and microscopic evidence was a wild ride. And the amount of stuff we sort of figured out, even if we didn't have all of the answers, absolutely fascinates me. Like, we understood that some water was cleaner than others, and we're able through that to figure out that typhus came from dirty water. Even though, like, at the time, we didn't really know what germs were. We didn't have the equipment to even look at the water and see that stuff was in there. Like, Victorian medicine was weird for a lot of reasons, but one of them was we didn't have a good answer for a lot of things. So it was like, yeah, here's oh, your tooth hurts, here's some cocaine, your tooth won't hurt. The baby's crying? Here's some laudanum. The baby will stop crying. Like, everybody's on hard drugs. Yeah, if it doesn't kill you, it's good for you. That's kind of what the vibe was. Well, and I love reading histories about like how we got from, sort of pre-industrial medicine to where we are now, and how it was like, well, somebody figured out at some point that if you eat that plant, one, you won't die, and two, it will make your headache go away. So if your head hurts, you eat that plant. Uh, we like this smell, so if we want to smell better, we're just, rub ourselves with this plant. Like, we are a ridiculous species. Yeah, I joked because we had our walls had condensation on them this winter a few times because the walls are plaster, and apparently it's not uncommon because plaster can have hot and cold spots. Like, so drywall, one of the reasons drywall and how you set up drywall is preferred is because the insulation is much more even all the time. So better for your bills, but also it means that you don't suddenly have your walls crying at 2 a.m. and smoke alarm going off because water got into the smoke alarm, and all smoke alarms are based off the amount of humidity in the air. Anyway, this house was built in, I think, like 1910. So Edwardian, but like almost Victorian. But like Victorian houses were built the same way with the plaster walls and everything. And so suddenly, like, hauntings being a Victorian thing, spiritualism being a Victorian thing, like, yeah, I wake up in the middle of the night and I think I see something shaped like a person because I have depression, and that is a symptom of depression sometimes, that like shadows get human shape. And then the things that I am taking from my doctor are also possibly giving me hallucinations, and now my walls are crying. Like, I'm surprised there weren't weirder things that people believed in than ghosts and spirits. Like, because let me tell you, half awake at midnight in a puddle of water that is 3 feet around that seems to have come from nowhere, I would have believed in a lot of weird shit. Also, icy cold water. Yeah, the old Wolf Creek. As it has warmed up, there is a sound I can't place happening every single night. Some part of the house is settling, and I can't figure out where it's coming from. The place we lived in when we first moved to Portland was a 1920s building that had never been updated. And in the winter, the heat would kick on, so the radiator would bang around. Everything would heat up. The heat would kick off, and then our metal bed frame would start ticking as it readjusted as it got colder. And if I was awake when it started ticking, I could not fall asleep until it stopped. So, like, and that was a modern metal bed frame from IKEA. I imagine the old actual, like, iron bed frames were a real sound machine. But yeah, it's very funny to be in a very well kept older house that has the foibles of being an older house like this. I am excited to get back to drywall, if only because I can put thumbtacks back in the walls again. We had to nail everything up to defeat the plaster. But everything looks very nice. The house is very sturdy. We have high ceilings and ceiling fans, so far so good for the spring. Although we are losing one of our old growth trees, I'm so sad. It was 2 trees at some point, and somebody lashed them together, and it actually, like, there's still chain at the bottom where they were lashed together. And apparently, like, it's still alive, it's still blooming, but apparently it's just because it has a split in the middle, so the trunk is all one piece, and then there's a split in the middle, and then it joins again in a few feet up. But that split makes it much more likely to get taken out in a really bad storm. And it is very, very tall. And it could either, if it falls on the house, the whole roof's going. And if it falls either direction, it's taken out at least 2 yards on either side. So it will need to come out. And the good news is we don't own this house, so we don't have to pay for that. Ha ha! Winning. Can't believe I just said winning. Nobody saw that, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is. I've never had old growth trees like this before. They're really nice. Like the shade's great. Yeah, like it could. Like luckily it's in the back, so it's. I guess if it fell the opposite, or like if it fell this way, it would land on the house. If it fell that way, yeah, it could hit the neighbor's cars. Come to think of it, but the garage is there too, so it would take out the garage and then probably also take out the cars. And I mean, this is a 300-year-old tree. This thing it's a big boy. Bean would probably be all right with a tree in the house for like a day and then want it out of the way. I think she would enjoy having something new to climb on for a day and then just be like, but I got the couch. But we have decided we're getting a bird bath, and we're gonna get some little like bee water cups so that the bees have a little place to drink, because we have birds and bees. And I am not good enough with gardening to plant anything that I think will stay alive, so we're just gonna give everybody free water. I know. Yeah, like it is definitely a tree that they built around rather than cut down. It's one of those that I'm sure they were like, we could clear the whole lot, but we could just leave that fucker alone, and that's 3 days of work we don't have to do. Like, it really does have that feeling of like, we're not doing it. It's actually Portland State University. If you look up their library, the outside, the library is the face of the library is curved because there was a very old tree right there that when they were designing the library, students and like people in the city of Portland protested to leave the tree alone because it was one of the oldest trees in the city. And so now the library has this beautiful curved front that really like kind of gives the tree its best angle and just looks really pretty. Oh yeah, that tree was definitely around with Carnegie. I by chance, the first book I read when we moved here was about Andrew Carnegie and was it Frick. It was Frick. Can't think of his first name now. But they had a long-term business partnership that fell apart after the Homestead strikes, and now I know that there is a Carnegie building. I believe I've seen it. The Carnegie building is downtown, and it is right next door to the Frick building, which was built to be just tall enough to always throw a shadow over the Carnegie building. And this is why I think it's a very good idea that I never have that kind of money, because I am that spiteful. I would absolutely build a whole building just to be like, it's bigger than yours. Haha. And then Frick actually built his house in New York City to become a museum. So the Frick in New York City, it was always planned to be a museum for his art collection after he died, which I'm fascinated by the foresight of that. Of like, I have so much money, not only can I build a gigantic house for myself and my art collection, I can then plan to just turn it into a museum when I drop dead. Yeah, he was a little dude. Yeah. And an absolute fiend for libraries. And the thing that I love is that all of the libraries that he built, like, and he built them not just in Pittsburgh, but like all over. I believe all the ones that he built in the city always had were always meant for multi-purpose. So the one in Edgewood is one half of the building is the library, and the other half is like a little country club. There's like a swimming pool, there's a tennis court, and it was similar to that when he built it, where it was like I think the pool might have been original, and it was meant to give people the chance to have a place for leisure of various types. And then I think it's in Homestead. The library is also a music hall, and that was always how it was designed. And there's a Carnegie building downtown that I can see from my office that is also a music hall as well. I don't know if it's also a library, but yeah, he was all in on libraries and museums, and giving people the chance to build themselves up the way that he did, which is nice. Yeah, just huge philanthropist. Oh my goodness! Like, we haven't been to the Natural History Museum yet, but I'm really looking forward to that still. And then, I mean, of course, it's Carnegie, everything around here. Yeah, it's not. I just like you could make even more libraries. We could put in, more parks and just benches. Honestly, just donate benches everywhere. My grandmother actually is a big fan of donating benches so that people can be outside and sit and enjoy the weather. And so in the town where I grew up, there are two for my grandfather, and then there is a bench for my great grandparents. And they're all under trees that she planted herself. And then like took care to water like every day for the first year so that they would grow as great as possible. And yeah, grandma loves a good project, and she loves plants. So um, I think it was also a way for her to have a task. Um, when my great grandparents moved in with my grandparents for the last several years of their lives, and then my grandpa was ill for the last several years of his life, and so my grandmother for many years was taking care of everyone around her, and but put up the trees and the benches in memoriam. But I think also like the trees just so that she would have something to do, because she was very aware that her entire routine and everything was going to be drastically different now that the people that she was caring for passed away. Um, she also took in my great aunt, who was my grandpa's older sister, and that was actually really funny because Aunt Margaret did not want to live with anybody. She'd never married. She had her own house until she was 98, and the rule was she could live on her own until she fell. And she fell. And like, she was 98 when she fell, and you would think, oh, that's it, broken hip. No, hips were fine. She messed up her shoulder. But they were like, no, we agreed. And oh, I've never seen such polite anger in my life, because my Aunt Margaret was very, very gracious and ladylike, but oh, hated every minute of having to share a house with people. It was kind of hilarious because she loved to see me. Because I helped her do her house cleaning for several years, and so I think she really liked to see me because I helped her maintain her independence on her terms. And so if I was over, she apparently like snapped right into shape and was lovely as always. And then I would hear these stories from my grandma about her like refusing to take her meds, not wanting to like go to bed at the time. She always went to bed. Like, she just did not want, she didn't want to have to be on anyone else's schedule. She was cool. She taught in a one-room schoolhouse in Nebraska for many, many years. Uh, and then when they got a proper school for the town. I believe she went in and kept teaching there um, for many years after that. I mean, by the time I knew her, she'd been retired forever, driving like a 1971 absolute cherry GTO. Oh yeah, there's definitely some hard-headedness there. Yep. Um, definitely some of that. I really, really appreciate my grandmother has been very clear that when she is no longer able to live independently, she wants to go into assisted living because uh, she does not want anyone else to go through the stress and the struggle she went through taking care of her parents and my Aunt Margaret and my grandpa. And I think it's great that she knows that and says so. My parents don't like going to the doctor. So. Oh, God. Yeah, my grandma and your grandma are very similar. My grandma has done everything to help all of the kids, all of the grandkids, whatever she could do to like give us good, steady advice. And you know, you had to work. You know, if you needed money, you came over to grandma's and she found you things to do. And she taught me, financial, uh, taught me good financial literacy, and helped me understand how to do a lot of things, like very practical, a very loving practicality that at the time when I was very young I didn't really get it. She was not cool, and then the older I got, the cooler she gets. Like I'm like, no, I get it now. Like you know how to do all this. You made sure I knew how to do it. You made sure we all, we all knew how to use our tools and uh, fix the holes in the walls and all that kind of stuff. Oh wow! So working and Sunday school and taking care of the kids and taking care of the family. Oh man, yeah, that is depression era energy. That's what that is. Um, yeah, my actually one of the things that's really fascinating is a lot of people who grow up in the depression have trouble letting go of things because they grew up and crochet lace. What? I hope it was very relaxing for her. Like, that's all I can think is, man, I hope like that was just such a beautiful, relaxing time for her. Um, but my grandma was always bothered as a kid by the amount of stuff that got kept by my great grandparents because of the depression, and so she was always she is sentimental, but uh she's very even-handed when it comes time to go through stuff and be like, what do I really want to keep? What's the most important? And I've managed to internalize a lot of that. So like I have a lot of stuff in my house, but it was all purposefully chosen. Uh, and some of it is from her, which is nice. And some of it came from Sean's side of the family in the last couple of years, which is also nice. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, your grandmother was working, so your great grand stepped in and took care of the kids. Well, yeah, that makes total sense. Um, I mean, you know, that's still so true in so many families that you know whoever is the retired one will do what they can to help with childcare and errands and all of that, so that that at least some of the burden of the to-do list is taken up. My family's very much a who can watch the kids sort of family. Like you go into grandma's because mom's working late tonight. You're And even if you don't stay at grandma's, you're going to grandma's for dinner because I don't want you touching the stove. 6. Yeah. Well, I'm sure your mom's mom was working ridiculous hours to make any amount of money you could do something with. Like, that was such a, like, to find a job would have been an amazing opportunity, and I, do anything to keep it, I'm sure. Yeah, I did get to know my great grandparents, my mom's grandparents, some. I wish I had known them better. But they were the ones who were moved in with my grandma. But my great grandpa actually did write a book about his life in Nebraska and South Dakota when he was a young man. I've never read it, even though I have it. Every time I pick it up, I just kind of miss him a little bit because he was an excellent cribbage player. He taught me to play cribbage. I have since forgotten. I do want to relearn. No one thought to tell me he counted cards, though, which would have helped. Oh, yeah, she was probably, yeah, definitely factory work, shift work of any kind. Yeah, and that would have probably been 12-hour days. Oh, no, I have to count slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that is 10, so I need 11. One more. Slip stitches. I got to the armholes, so that is a victory for the moment. What am I picking up? All right. Oh, there's my hook. The hook is not in the yarn, so I had to find it. What am I working on? Has your aunt written down anything? And can you encourage her to do so? Or does she have an Ancestry.com account? This that let me get my hook in here. This is the very beginning of a 1950s incredibly poofy skirt. This is from a pattern by Dritz. It's one of those where you have to pull all the double crochets up to 1/2 inch. And I've made another one from the same booklet. I have a green and blue skirt I made a while back from the same booklet. So all of the stuff in the booklet, and I only have like the pattern itself linked in the description because the buyer that I got the pattern from, the pattern booklet from, doesn't have the booklet on her Etsy anymore, but does still have this particular one, so I was still able to link it. But all of the patterns are done with the Dritz straw and like Straw Radiant and Straw Art and Bella Straw. So like, I believe they were all 100% rayon, but they were a little stiffer. And so I'm using a linen rayon blend that has a little bit of stiffness to it that I cannot, it's hard to focus. But yeah, so just started it. It's for every set of shell rows, so it's 2 rows to complete a shell. For every set of those, you then do multiple rows of just mesh stitches. So it's a nice break between, having to pull up exactly 1/2 inch, and there's a bunch of chain stitches and stuff. Everything on Ancestry. Oh, yeah, I don't know what the Ancestry share rules are. I've tried to look into it before because my mother had an account at one point and did a lot of family research. But like, I tried to search my mother's name and like she didn't even come up, and I'm like, I know you're here. But like I actually like I got a free trial and dug around on my own one weekend when I was basically trying to decide if it was a hobby I wanted to have. Of like, is this something that I would be interested in doing like as a regular thing? Because if I want to do it as a regular thing, I'll pay for the subscription. But if I do it and then I just don't enjoy it, that's what a free trial is for, really. And I did manage to track family records back to like early Massachusetts and just see like census reports and stuff. Uh, but it was honestly, I found the whole process very annoying. So I was like, yeah, this is not going to be a hobby for me. Um, I do like research. I guess I just don't like that particular type of research. Um, but yeah, it was still fun to sort of play around and see what you could find. But actually, part of what pissed me off was what was paywalled. So, you know, it is what it is. All right. So yeah, I do have to keep. Did I do it here too? Wait, hold on. So with the meshes, you always have to know which one is the center one. So I do have to be carrying stitch markers throughout. I think I just put this one in the wrong place. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've confused myself. Give me a moment. 1, 2. What did I do? I think I see what I did. All right. I think I got there. Yeah, that is very much what's going on here. There is no fudging it if I missed one. I saw someone on, I think it was Crochet Help on Reddit, and they were doing alternating shell rows, and 2 rows before they had done 2 double crochets instead of 3. They're like, oh my god, do I have to frog it? I'm like, you're fine. Trust me, we have all been there. Hold on. Yeah, okay. That's still not the right place for it. It's getting the first one, it's getting the first meshes over the right one that is the trickiest part. Because after that, it's just moving it up. So, like, next row, when there is a single crochet here instead of the mesh, I'll just stick it in the single crochet and it's going to be in the right spot. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've definitely I've picked up like loose bits of yarn if like something split slightly while working patterns and like tucking them away in the middle where nobody can see them. I can never unsee them though. Like once I know they're there, I can see them all the time. But it is worth it when I don't have to undo all of my work to fix, a drop stitch or a slightly weird looking stitch. Yeah, this linen rayon is discontinued. It's from Silk City Fibers, and I'm disappointed because I really like it, but also I'm sure it's probably just not selling the way that they wanted it to. And I imagine with everything they do is cones, so it's probably every new yarn they put out is a bit of a gamble because they have to put it out in such large quantities in order to have cone quantities. Oh, this is a linen rayon blend. It's a fingering weight. I would also the Bitch Y project is not from the same booklet, but does do the same like half-inch single crochet thing. I think It is also a Dritz. Okay, yeah. So I think it might have been like a Dritz thing. No, I think Unger did it as well. It was a thing that like you would pull. You would make long double crochets. They were a thing. But that one is being made out of 100% linen, and giving me the results I really think I'm supposed to have in terms of the shape and how it's coming together. And that's BC Garn Lino, which is a slightly rougher linen. It's not. It's intentionally not spun super smooth, and I really like it. But it is one of those that like it's probably too rough for some people, just because it's rougher linen, and that's not always super fun to work with, depending on how your hands handle that sort of thing. My hands are fine with it. Like for some reason, it's like the worsted cottons that take me out. But like, yeah, fingering weight rough linen, that's fine. Super bulky wool, that's fine. Yeah, it is similar to unmercerized cotton. Uh, so it is a little. I don't even want to say it's like Lily sugar and cream because they're two different weights, and Lily's is definitely softer because it's plied differently. But you can get linens that aren't as rough. Um, yeah, it is. Raffia texture is a good. It's not a bad description. Um, but I really like the way the BC Garn Lino works up. Right. Yeah, not the silky stuff. I feel like there was like a linen cotton that I worked with. That might have actually been more Silk. Silk City has its linens, cottons. I mean, they do polyesters and stuff too. But I've made. I have a 100% bamboo yarn I'm working with right now that they make that will eventually become an incredibly dramatic robe. But I'm freehanding it, so it's on a break again. And then I've used they have a bamboo cotton blend that I really like that I made a tank top out of, and then I also made it was that green sweater from the 30s that ended up not fitting me. So I will need to steam this once it's done just to make sure everything is relaxed. I probably won't do a proper block on it. I don't remember what the instructions say. Hold on, let me check. I have them open, I think. Yeah, all right, let's see. Finishing. Hold on. For finishing and belt, we go to page 2, apparently. Alright, that's the belt. Well, that's in fact how you make a belt. Okay, I don't see. Oh, you know what? I bet because these were like these straw sort of things and they were supposed to be stiffer. Oh, there it is. Press through damp cloth or with a steam iron. So what I will actually do is yeah, so what I'll do is get it on the mannequin over the petticoat and just go to town with my steamer a couple of times. That's actually what I did with the first skirt I made that does this like this height, the long double crochets. And that skirt is actually still a little shorter than it was supposed to be, but I ran out of yarn. And but I also that yarn was Kobasai, so cotton silk. What's the other one? Kobasai, maybe? Cotton silk bamboo, that's what it was. Um, Beautiful yarn, love it, want to use it for 100 things. Actually, not great for this kind of project because it's a very springy yarn. And so I would pull up to 1/2 inch, but then the moment I relaxed my hook to pull in the next part, the stitch would fall a little bit. So like that's when I learned making that skirt, and I still love that skirt. but that is why that's why I'm tracking down uh, linen and linen blends for making this skirt, and why I'm using linen for the bitch Y is because the stiffness in the yarn is a big feature. Um, this has not been splitty at all. I don't know if you can see that. It's a really nice wind, and like I said, unfortunately, it's discontinued. The BC Garnlino, uh, it doesn't. Hold on, let me think. It does split somewhat, but I'm kind of leaning into it. And also, you can sort of pick up the loops that if they separate, you can pick them up the next time you go around and tuck them in. So, no, that bamboo silk linen was like the perfect yarn. Give me a second here. Is it Kobasai? No, it's. Oh wait, I remember now. Kobasai yarn. All right. It will send you the Ravelry page. So it's cotton bamboo silk. That's what it is. It's Kobasai. Um, absolutely gorgeous. Great to work with. Uh, I always think of it in the back of my mind when I'm looking at yarn, but then I buy something else. Oh man, like Kovu was bad enough, but Trubu splits when you look at it. That was a rough one for me. Well, and then not only does it split just looking at it, it's super slippy. So you're really got to be on your game when you're working with it. And then I didn't knot my ends when I wove them in, but I wove them in like super extra, and they unraveled. Which is not. Ooh, that's good to know. The Premier Bamboo. Oh yeah, I've wondered about that. That's great to know. Yeah, so like I made a sweater out of the Trubu, and I was really happy with the sweater, and I was excited, and it was so soft. Like that Trubu was so soft. And after the second time I wore it, I was like, oh, one of my seams came slightly loose. Not the first time that's happened, not going to be the last time that happens. So I went to fix it, and when I grabbed it, like a whole section of it, like, you know how when somebody, like, I've seen it happen in knitting a lot more often than I've seen it happen in crochet, but it was a similar thing where, like, you had all, it came apart in such a way that, like, half of the stitch was still there, but it was unfixable. It was such a disappointment because it was, yeah, like I genuinely wonder if even Fray Check could hold a knot on that yarn. It is. I think you would actually have to go in with a needle and thread like you do with certain chenille projects. The butterfly shawl I made last year, yeah, I think that made me crazy. Its instructions were you use sewing thread to sew this together. Don't use chenille. Yeah, like that's a really good knot. I don't even go that far. I tie off my ends if I decide to knot them. I do it like I'm like I learned how to do for sewing, sewing a button on when I was like 7. I should really learn a couple of finishing knots. Um, but yeah, like that Trubu. If I had to choose, I would use the Kobu again in a second, even though it is splitty. It just it had a great sheen, it had a great drape, it was soft, it gave me everything the Trubu did, and was less of a headache to work with. Yeah, I made a blanket for my brother and sister-in-law and made sure to fray check all of the spots because it was chenille, and they report that those spots are still a little rough. But they also report that they use it and that it's warm. So, you know, I figure that's a win. Actually, game. Yep, I've had a couple of Karen Simply Softs fly away on me. You see, this is one of those very important differences in working with acrylics. Is some of them are wonderfully soft the moment you touch them, and they work up beautifully. But some of them will come apart because they're a little too soft. And Red Heart Super Saver will never do that to any of us because it is the toughest material known to man. Oh no! Just 12 skeins of colors you don't like at all just sitting there. Oh man. Oh my. See, I have several old-timey coat patterns that you make in motifs, and my goal is to make the most obnoxious coats possible. I want you to see me on the street and never forget you saw me. I am all about it. Let me think on that. Maybe we can brainstorm something so that you're not having to. There's got to be something. I'm going to think on that. Maybe there is an answer. Okay. I really like. I used it like it was my go-to for a long time, and then as I realized that like I just cannot wear 100% acrylic on my human body, I just don't even think about it, even when it's not a project that could make me sweat, because I've just found so many things that I really like that are either worth whatever the extra cost is or within the same price point. So, it all works out. Oh. So if it's, I remember, so are they individual colors or is this a ombre or a variegated? Like, I'm trying to understand the exact level of mess we're dealing with. I am fascinated by this story, and I thank you for it. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, a bad variegated. That's. Oh, you can't. You don't even want to knock out a pile of hats to donate because you don't want to put that on people to wear that ugly. Oh man, it's just I saw someone I think it's Handmade by K with an E on the end on YouTube, and she just made a top using Peaches and Cream, which is I guess Lilies and Cream has gotten fully rebranded. All right, I'm gonna look it up in just a second. And it was, and I'd love seeing it because I always see the variegated colors for specifically dish cottons, and all I can see is all the washcloths I've ever made. And so seeing the variation of color on something the size of a top was fantastic because it really made me appreciate how the color sort of ebbed and flowed in a way that I don't appreciate it when it's a washcloth. And yeah, and it looks so cute on her. And it let me understand like how good it looks when you're using it for larger projects, which is not, I usually just buy plain colors when I'm using that cotton for anything. I do, that is like Peaches and Cream and Sugar and Cream, like phenomenal for worsted weight shorts. Huge fan because they're meant to be very long-lasting, hard-wearing cottons, and so like they will go the distance. All right, so I am looking up. All right, Karen Simply Soft Paints. Let me see. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. You can't.
Oh, sorry.
No, you. Oh, no.
Maybe you sit on your tail. Oh, you little one.
Oh. No, no. You know what? You know what it could work for? Baby and toddler toys. Because it's all the super bright colors and like maybe even like kindergarten me is like, oh my God, it's the best group of colors ever. So like it also feels like something 5-year-olds would absolutely lose their minds for. But yeah, like maybe just like ridiculous stuffies that could be donated to like a children's hospital or a shelter or something like that. Yeah, because kids will go absolutely bonkers for that colorway. Because like, there's a little part of my brain going like, "Ooh, you could have a big ridiculous teddy bear." I'm like, I don't need a ridiculous teddy bear, and I don't want to make ridiculous Halloween baskets. That could work. Oh yeah. All right, yeah. I feel like I'm cooking now. What do you think, honey? This. Oh, you're in the middle of something. Sorry. Sean's beating up a guy in Elden Ring. Um, this is giving Halloween basket energy. Yeah. Yeah, I think a little bit of open work would help that a lot. Like, this is the kind of colorway that Hirschner's really knows what to do with. Well, used to. This, we know how I feel about this year's catalog. But like really good at taking like knowing like what the baby gift you can do with this is. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Hirschner's website real quick and see what we can see. Oh, no, we don't need to turn this into an Afghan. I think people have suffered enough. Get away from me. Let me just... suppose I could show you my screen, but I'm not doing that. I don't know why the girl with Ipanema is stuck from Ipanema is stuck in my head, but here we are. Oh, come on. I know you got more than this. Ooh, hold on. I think I have found a winner. That, yeah, I think that yarn could work great for like a sensory toy thing. What else have we got? That's a lad trick kit. We do not need a lad trick kit. Santa shit. You could make some of the most horrifying Peppa Pigs ever seen. Ooh, yeah, use it for a unicorn mane. That's a really good idea. I love that. You could also do, like, if you do dolls, you could give them the rainbow hair. That would be really fun. That's a full kit. That is not just a pattern. We know I understand why Hirschner's does full kits, but I wish they just had a pattern section too for any pattern you can just grab. Like, I'll pay for the pattern. I don't mind. Alright, I am going... Hold on. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Alright. Nothing else is really jumping out at me, but I'm going to think about this, and I'll, if I find something, I will tag you on the community tab. Yeah, like, I think if you made little, like, trick-or-treat buckets and then use a little bit of black to make jack-o'-lantern faces, that could be... Or, like, little monster faces. In general, you could do, like, pointy teeth and stuff. Yeah, it's... yeah, like... Oh, I bought it to be ready for the project. Oh, God, it's the worst thing I've ever done. Yeah, been there. Yeah, I have had more than one time where I bought a bunch of yarn and then ended up not liking it and needed to find a home for it. So definitely been through that that flow chart of questionable ideas. But I bet if I spend... I am genuinely going to try to stop stitching next week. I'm going to try to take a week off at least. Going to aim for 2 because I meant to take that time off like a month ago and it didn't happen. So I will have a lot of free time I need to fill with not stitching. So pattern hunting is a good use of that time. Yeah. Yeah, like I have this feeling, like I feel the same way about ombre yarns and self-striping yarns of like, okay, yeah, it looks good right now, but when I swatch it, what am I about to do to myself? And I personally am very picky about how I want self-striping yarn to work. And it's one of the reasons I don't use it very often. Unless I have a pattern that I feel like is showing me exactly how it's going to work out. So once I get, like, if you have a pattern that shows me the self-striping yarn is striping fairly evenly, I'll give you a shot. But I will not buy it and use it myself because I don't want to have to figure out, like, what pattern is going to get me that. I will color change and make my own stripes, or just make it one color. Oh, the self-striping turn is always a gamble, isn't it? Yep. That's the thing I don't like is when it's like, you know, it stripes really evenly and then all of a sudden you just have the blob. I hate the blob. It's something I look for when I'm looking at like the pattern kits on Hirschner's and they're using like striping yarns. And I get that I am not the target audience for that yarn because the people who use the self-striping yarn seem to really like uh, when I mean, I assume they like it because they buy the kits and they buy the patterns where you can see that that's what's happening. So like they're clearly like cool with it. And it's just not for me. Um, yep. If it turns, you get the blob patches. So yeah, it's amazing what you don't know you have an opinion on until you have to look at your own work and be like, why don't I like this? And you're like, oh, it's this blorp is larger than everything around it. And I followed the pattern. There we go. Slip that in. Uh, but why work with self-striping yarn when I can recreate an enormous skirt from the 1950s using fingering weight and a 2mm? Isn't that way more fun? I mean, it is for me, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it. But yeah, I joke that I know I am an outlier in a lot of ways when it comes to how much I stitch and what I stitch. And I always try to keep that in mind when I'm like, hey, you might like this, because like maybe you will like making this. I like making this. Somebody else will probably like making this. But also, I'm going to warn you, it is 2,200 yards of fingering weight yarn, which is a lot. On a 2mm hook, which is not a lot. I am genuinely so excited because so this is on a 2mm. The other one is on a 3. I am about to rotate in a pair of slippers in super bulky that I can probably make in 2 days. But I'm just so excited to have a super bulky coming in and be like, look, I finished it. I this is definitely the year that I am embracing like let's get a small project in here. Let's remember to work small. And like the little purse thing is a small project, but it was still a few days work because it's fingering weight yarn and you have to make a square. And so you're just increasing over and over and over. And it's nice and easy. Um but yeah, I'm excited to use a whole like 8mm hook. Uh oh, great job. Yeah, that was something I definitely had to work my way up to actually finishing the smaller weight projects at first. I don't remember. I will need to go through and look at what my first ones were. Yeah, because I was mostly in worsted weight for a really long time, and I didn't mean to end up, you know, on the other end of the on the small end of the yarn spectrum quite so often, but that's what a lot of vintage patterns are, and I love them. So a lot of thread, a lot of fingering weight, and uh, it's funny. I just figured out yesterday I bought yarn for a skirt, and just realized yesterday I bought sport weight when I was supposed to buy fingering weight, and so I had to go through my library for a sport weight pattern, and I found one, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be so nice to make that. Sport weight's so big. I'm just like, you absolute loon. Yeah. So the reason I tend to have so many projects to rotate through is because if I get bored of one, I can pick up another. But then it can also become it's easier than just you're like, I'll do a couple of rows on this one, and then this one, and then this one, and they all get a little bit of work done. And I enjoy the process of rotating through them. But I also added 2 projects by accident the other day. One of them is done. It's a pair of shorts. So it's funny because I'm making 3 pairs of hot pants out of the same booklet, and the first pair I've finished and filmed. The second pair I've made and will not film because the third pair is actually made the same way, and I had to increase the amount of stitches around my leg so that they would fit, and they're actually a tiny bit bigger than I want them to be around my legs on this second pair. So on the third pair, I'm gonna nail it. Very excited. But actually, where is he? Oh, other way. That's the yarn for the third pair. Got it in the Yip Yip. And then there is a contrasting, that blue yarn that's down, you can kind of see it, because there's a little bit of contrasting color in the pattern. So, and they would be little overalls. I'm very excited. And it's really funny because the reason the second pair ended up a little too big is not just because I widened around my legs, but I also made them a little longer because the first pair of hot pants are true hot pants and my butt's hanging out a little bit. And then I love my Yip Yips. Do you have the pattern for the Yip Yip? It's on Ravelry. It's a real easy one. It's just super bulky. Honestly, the most annoying part is the fringe. Ring. Yeah, they're great. I will pull that pattern up real quick. But yeah, so the second pair of shorts that I made them longer so that I could wear them outside the house without worrying. And I actually, making them longer made them a little, made the shape a little different. And so it's a whole process. But they're still totally wearable. They look good. But I know I can nail it for realsies on this this next one. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I one of the best skits you could ask for on Sesame Street as a kid. All right. There is the link to the pattern. We have 2 of them. Hey, no one said they wanted to see me either, but tough shit. If you're looking on my back porch, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I bet you would look super cute. Well, but the good thing about the good thing about these designs is that it's super easy to just add length. So, but yeah, like what the second pair taught me was that yes, adding length good, but also it does affect the overall shape if it's lower on the leg. So, I think after this pair, I might be really good at like being able to be like, I want to make shorts. I know how to make shorts now. Because I like the way that they're also built, which is that it's individual legs, and then you sew them up the middle to make them into shorts. So they are very comfy. But yeah, I was like, I need more shorts, and I have a bunch of patterns, so I'm just gonna make my own, I guess. I need to commit to making some of my button downs that are in my pattern list, but those are all like size 20 thread patterns, and trying to space those out a little bit. Yeah. I actually need to make a couple more Yip Yips because we need more storage. And I have a couple of hanging baskets that are not. Let me see if I can find that too, because the other hanging baskets we have, you can crochet eyes for them. It's part of the pattern, but I don't. I didn't do that part because I liked them as just hanging baskets. Oh no! Don't show me. I knew it was a mistake to scroll down because I'm seeing all the cutie ones and they're pretty great one. Hold on. Let me try. There it is. Excellent. All right. And that is 2 little monster face hanging baskets, but I have 3 of them in the house just as regular baskets, and they have 2 of them I've had for like 6 or 7 years at this point, and then I made another big one this winter for all of the new hats and everything I was making for us. So it worked out real nice. Where am I? But yeah, I do like a good wall ornament. Yeah, it's also like they're pretty easy, and the ones I just linked are really easy to resize. One of them that I have on the wall is actually smaller than the big one, but larger than the small one because I was just using the yarn I had left. And it was really easy to adjust it to let it, just be another basket without having to worry that it was going to come out lopsided or something. And I've made them all out of Bennet blanket, and they've just lasted for ages. Actually, that might have been what sold me on Bennet blanket, was making those originally. And it's now one of Bean's beds. It was originally a toy box I made for her, and I think I'd gotten yarn off Craigslist or something, and it had a couple of skeins of Bennet blanket that I used for it. And like, she has not put a hole in it at all. So like, that was also another thing of like, that stuff that holds up. Yeah, so the Yip Yips are ping pong balls. Yeah, that's the other thing. I've definitely used a couple of colorways I was not personally fond of for dog bed and hanging basket before, because I'm like, I don't mind the color too much. Like, I'm not offended by the color. I just don't want it on my body or my bed. Oh, that's right. You're on the plushie. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. All right. All right. All right. I am gonna call it. It is 8:57. Thank you for hanging out, my darling. It's always so good to talk to you. I appreciate it. I always get so happy when I see you pop in, and I appreciate the company. So we will brainstorm on that other yarn still, and I'm sure I will see you around. Have a lovely weekend, and I hope you have a great week after that. And to the silent partner who has been here the whole time, I hope you also have a lovely weekend and a great week after that. And I will see you guys next 4th Friday at the end of May, and regular set of videos in May. Just a reminder, I am not doing anything in June. I'll remind you again at the end of May, so you know. But I just don't want to forget to say it. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.